behind the camera who makes all the magic happen over there. There we go. I'm waiting to go live here over on IG. We'll make it happen. I think I got it here. Boom. There we are. All right, brother. Got a Friday show here for everybody. Welcome to the Patrick Carr Show. A lot of people have been tuning into the short form content, Anthony. Thanks to you. Seen a lot of our great stories that we've had out there from AI this week. The Elon Musk and Sam Altman controversy that's going down. We got a bunch of great stories here on the docket for the Friday today. Some of them coming from you, some of them coming from me. Where do you want to start us off, brother? You want to go with Meta first? Or are we going into, do we want to start with the story about gas prices? Let's do Meta. We'll do Meta. All right, folks, let's start us off with the first story of the day right here. We'll go into gas prices next, which I know everyone is feeling the pain, but Meta is back in court, everybody, and this time they are in a showdown against New Mexico. All right, everyone, here's the story, all right? New Mexico took Meta to court over child safety, and here's the deal. They actually won the first round. A jury has already ordered Meta to pay $375 million after finding that they knowingly harmed kids' mental health and hid what they knew about child sexual exploitation on their platforms. So what did Meta do in response to this? They have threatened to shut down Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp in New Mexico entirely. That would mean 2.1 million residents. It would kill commercial advertising, kill the social media app there. Let's see, your prosecutors want Meta to fix the addictive features, improve age verification, and make their platform safer for kids. Meta's response is basically, as a private held company, all right, you want us to do all this, you want to fine us, you want to come after us? Well, you know what? Then we just won't be in your state if we're not welcome here. So is this going to be something like corporate bullying, or is this a legitimate thing that a private company can do? I want to be very clear about this, all right? That on this show, I support private industry. So if you're going to come after Meta for their platform, and you're going to say that they need to make improvements on it, and they're responsible, and your state is going to go after them, don't be surprised when they bite back. Don't be surprised when Meta says, you know what? If you don't like it, you're 2.1 million people, we're going to make a point with you. It's not like they're making a point with Florida or New York or California. What they're doing is they understand this, that if you are Meta and you put up with it in New Mexico, you know you're going to have to deal with it in other states. The stand you take in New Mexico is where you're going to take your stand across the country. And so when states see that you can be bullied and that you will bow down and that you will do what they say, those states are going to come after you. Now, that's not to say that I disagree with the state. I'm not saying that I don't think there should be things that are put into place. But it also means that you can look at Meta and you can understand as a private industry what they are doing. That, to me, Anthony, is the key here, is that you have a company that is a private company. They're privately held, all right? This is not the government telling another part of government what they should do. This is a privately held company who is saying, hey, we feel like we've done the best that we can. We feel like, you know what, the demands that you're making on us to make these improvements to our platform are unjust, and we're not going to do it. We don't want to do it. And they're saying, well, you're going to have to do it. Well, no, we don't. We just won't operate in your state. And now all of a sudden, if I'm a business there, right? Like, let's just say our business right now, we get a lot of traffic, almost primarily from social media, from people seeing our brand, seeing our content, wanting to be a part of it. That's what we are great at right there, Anthony. And so if I'm living in New Mexico right now, and I'm getting my business from social media, primarily through something like Meta, what happens when they say, you know what, let's just turn it off? If I'm a small business owner who is paying my taxes here within New Mexico, I am not happy right now, all right? Because I understand that what if they just did a temporary shutoff on this? What if Meta wanted to prove its point over the weekend? What if they said, you know what, the hell with it? And they said, I'm done. If you're a small business in New Mexico, you are going to be in a situation where you have no pool. All of a sudden, overnight, your leads may go down or may cease to exist. This is something that could affect millions of people. It's not just about the safety, of course, of children in the court case that's at hand. It's how Meta is going to react to that case that's going to make all the difference right now in how they are viewed across the country. That is what nobody is talking about right now. Yes, there should be better age verification and there should be better checks on Meta. I don't think anybody doubts that. All right. I don't think that a 7 or 8 year old should be able to join a social media app like Instagram and freely just be able to roam through that. I think some of that responsibility falls on the parent, of course, but we cannot allow that to happen from the app standpoint. Now, I look at this as like, what is reasonable to ask? Is it reasonable to ask that there be a completely separate platform for people under the age of 17? Is that where we need to be? Do we need to do photo verification for adults who join these platforms? I don't think that's very much to ask. I don't believe that you should just be able to join the platform and have 20 different profiles that you have on there just because you went on to Gmail and got 20 different Gmail addresses. Why don't we say, hey, listen, if you want to do that, no, we're gonna make sure that you have a photo ID. Take the photo ID, take the picture next to you in the ID, and start doing some verification that this is the person that's actually on that profile. I've said before that if you want to stop people from doing stupid comments online, what you want to do is just make sure they're real people. Attach the profile to a real person. Even if you can't see that person, even if they have a private profile, if you want to stop the stalking, stop that kind of stuff, make sure that the people behind the scenes actually know that there is a real person there. So when a complaint is made, they know exactly who law enforcement needs to go to. But no one wants to do that because a lot of what people need to understand about these apps is where you get a lot of the interaction, where you get a lot of the feed into anger is not through real people. It is through apps or through bots that are out there. So there's no incentive right now for these apps to do anything about it. But if you wanted to, which you wouldn't if you're a for-profit company, but if you did, that's where you would start, is to make sure that simply anybody who joins is a real person. And then what you would do is say, okay, you've got 6 months. Everybody who's got a profile, you have 6 months to prove that you're a real person behind that profile. You'll have one person per profile. You can have your profile on private. You don't have to have a picture there. But as a company, we're going to start to monitor what profile is attached to what person. And if you decided you're going to go out there and be an idiot, we're going to make sure that we have the information that we can actually take a stance against you. Problem solved. But no way they're doing that right there, folks. All right. Because everybody know that rage bait works. And as long as there's bots out there that are combing across all of social media, these media platforms are not going to do anything about it because there's no incentive to do so. So you're going to see a big case right here and a big fight back from Meta, not because they care about the 2.1 million people there in New Mexico, but because they know the rest of the country is watching them, and how they act in New Mexico and what they do will determine how the rest of the country treats this situation, because it is not isolated to just one case. What do you think about this one, Anthony?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, especially since, like you were saying, if they do verification, personally, I think that'll be kind of great because you see all those scam accounts where it's like they grab your name, they grab all your images, they just make another account. And then I see all my friends or people that like I've known that fall for these scams where they make a new account, grab all of your pictures, and then they send to their friend, hey, I need money, help.
Yep.
And then they send the money over, and then they're like, wait, this wasn't you, this was a scam.
Yeah, I've seen that happen too.
So I think it would be a great opportunity for that, but then I don't know how people would feel about putting out their identity out there and having your license out there, which is also another tricky thing too. So
I just like, what kind of pansy do you have to be to want to go join an app to comb the internet like anonymously? You want to get onto there and you want to stalk people? What do you want to do? Make comments because you don't want people to know who you are? Like, you've got to be, as a person, you've got to be either be an extremely insecure person, or you've just got to be, I don't know, a jerk, the best way to put it, that somehow you decide to go online and you log in underneath your other profile and you go, oh, I'm going to go on here and I'm going to really start some things up because I'm angry and I'm going to let some people know and they can't do anything back to me. I'm just going to get rage bait on there. It's like, really? That's what you're doing? Like, I guess that for me, I look at this and I'm so far removed from that type of person, Anthony, that I can't imagine like getting home and being like, oh, I can't wait to log into my other apps today, like my other profiles, so that I can comb the internet and just, I don't know, upset people and say my mind. Say your piece. Have enough confidence in yourself, to actually get online and talk about something that you believe in. Have people that disagree with you. We have people literally every day that leave me comments calling me things that nobody would want to be called in real life. Okay. And what? Because I know when I go home, I understand my own flaws. I understand the things I do have to do better. I understand the things that do make me not perfect. And it sure as heck is not my opinion about Donald Trump or my opinion about a Meta article or Sam Altman. That I promise you folks, I've got a lot worse things about me than those things in my opinions about that. But get online, put your name to it, and all of a sudden we would have a lot less of these problems. I think this is a simple fix, but again, not one that would be profitable for the platform. So we are not going to see it happen. There you go. Let's move on to our second story right here. Folks, if you've been to the gas pump lately, it's expensive, right? You're paying more at the pump than maybe you ever have. The national average is $4.23 a gallon as of Wednesday. It's up more than 40% since the U.S.-Iran conflict began in late February. California itself hit $6 a gallon. Diesel in California is $7.50 a gallon and going up. All right, so I want to take a different look at this because everybody gets on to their platforms, right? Or you get onto where you consume news and they go, oh, gas prices are high. It's because there's a war going on in Iran, and that's why it is. And then the strait is closed, and there's 20 million barrels a day that get pumped through there, and that's why gas prices are going high. Okay. That's like the narrative we just hear over and over again. But it doesn't tell the whole story, and that's what we wanted to do some research on this because we wanted to tell you the whole story on this show. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm not understanding something. Isn't the U.S. one of the largest exporters of oil? And people would go, yeah, I've heard that. Okay, well, we are in the world. So we have more oil right here in America than just about anywhere. So you think to yourself, well, if it's expensive to ship oil, then why would America not just take the oil out of the ground here, refine it in America, and drop our own prices and everybody wins? And so I started doing research and it says, well, you pay the world price. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? We pay the world price. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, OPEC, maybe we've got some kind of mafia thing going on here, but it's actually a lot more simple than that, folks. Get this. So in America, I should say back up. There are two types of oil that actually get pumped out of the ground. There's probably more, but I'm simplifying this because I'm a dumb everybody. All right. So let's break this down to a fifth grade level. There's what's called light sweet crude. It's a cleaner, more refined oil. And then there's heavy sour crude. It's thicker, more sulfur, harder to process. And here in the U.S., we produce a lot of the easy, good stuff, like the really good, light, sweet stuff. The issue is that the rest of the world wants that light, sweet stuff. And here in America, many of our oil refining factories were built during a time where they actually refine heavy crude better than anybody else in the world. So what do we have? A perfect storm here in America where our oil is in more demand outside of the country and we have more demand to import heavy crude here because our refineries can actually handle it. It's not a perfect good storm. This is just a perfect bad storm for Americans here. I never knew this or understood it till we actually did some research on this story, Anthony, and it actually makes sense to me because I've never understood how we could be such an exporter of oil. And then when there's any conflict in the Middle East, which it feels like there is one every other year, or surely every election year, there has to be one. And if that's the case, then we always just have sky high gas prices. Why do we not just use our own oil? And that's the reason, man. It's because there's more demand for our oil outside of our country, outside of our borders. And then we have more demand to import that stuff here because we actually have the facilities that can handle it, unlike many others across the world. So what does this mean to you? Well, it means that we're all kind of screwed at the pump right now is what it means. There's no end in sight right now. Donald Trump was asked about this, and his response was, well, Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. And I understand that. I do. I can see where he's coming from. But I want to say this because I'm a Trump supporter. I like the guy, okay? That play ain't working anymore, Donald Trump, okay? You can only say you're winning the war so much and then continue the war on and on for Americans to feel it. Because here's the truth, everybody. Not many of us have a damn clue where Iran even is. All right. I mean that. I bet most Americans, vast majority, if I gave them a map, couldn't find Iran, couldn't find Iraq. I mean, that's just the vast majority of the truth. So when Americans hear this, what they hear is another war in the Middle East, another oil battle, another Arab country that we're overthrowing. Okay, another time we have to go over there. That's what most Americans are thinking right now. And what I'm seeing every time I go to the pump is more and more money getting pumped out of my bank account, on my credit cards, and my business. And then on top of that, we travel here in Blue Collar Media Group every single week. We have airfares are going up all the time, but my contract prices remain constant because I'm locked in on those rates right now. So my company is making less money. We're investing less back into the economy. That's the truth about what this does. And so, yeah, do I agree that Iran should not have a nuclear weapon? Sure, absolutely. And I can also be somebody who's smart enough to look at this and go, most of us in America are going into the weekend and going, you know what, man, my dollar's not going as far. There are people out there that are not traveling as much because they're looking at how much they're paying at the pump, and it's $1.40 than they were a couple of months ago. And so if you're driving 100 miles a week, which is not common for anybody to do, you could pay $150 more a week at the pump. Folks, that is $600 a month that you could be paying extra just like that because oil prices decide to go up. You can be the biggest Donald Trump fan there is in the world, the biggest fan of what America is doing. But at some point, don't you have to say, I get it, we're winning the war, but you know what? I want it to end. It's like, okay, guys, like if what I'm hearing is true, right? And I'm not doubting that it is. I'm not doubting that we're kicking ass over there and that American military is really showing them what's up. But at some point, don't you go, okay, guys, you say that you can do whatever you want. You say that we own the air. Okay, go own it. Go bomb out of these people and let's be done with this thing. Open up that strait and let's get these oil prices down. Is that unreasonable for someone to think? Because I got a feeling that's what most Americans are thinking right now. And you can be for the war, you can be against it, whatever it is. But what it does is Americans are feeling this right now. And most Americans, if you went on a street and you asked them, couldn't find Iran on a map and can't tell you why we're even there in the first place. That's the truth. But yet we are the ones who are paying the biggest price because we're the ones who are paying it every day at the pump. Doesn't seem fair. Doesn't seem right. Now, am I not saying there's not legitimate reasons that we're there? Of course I am, everybody. Two things can be true at once. You can support what we are doing, but then also question the manner in which we're doing it and what it would mean to Americans and what it does mean to us right now. And so I really encourage people to look at the nuance of this, not just in how much we're getting charged, but why we are. And then even if you are a supporter of Donald Trump and you're a supporter of this administration, cool. And you can say enough's enough, right? We good? Doing more spam? Of course. So what do you got about this one, Anthony? Anything about that?
No, I mean, honestly, I feel like every 10 years it's always the same thing over and over again.
Another true.
War, another thing in Iran, another reason why the gas prices are going up. And,
yep.
It's just funny because I see, what was it like, when Obama was in office and the war there too. I see Republicans going like, well, it's all because of the Democrats. They're starting this war. And then when it's flip-flop, then I see the Democrats going, it's the Republicans. They want to do this war. And so it's just all the same thing over and over again. Right? Just a war and I don't know. All I know is that I'm paying too much on gas right now.
I think that's all that most Americans know, Anthony.
Yeah.
Like, okay, are there a few educated, smart people that are much smarter than me, maybe much smarter than you, that understand the world geoeconomic effects of our war in Iran and what it means? Okay, yeah, of course. I got it, bro. Okay, good for you. All right. Meanwhile, I'm trying to run a media company over here, and we have clients in other states, and we have to rent cars. We have to fly on planes, and that makes our economy work right now. So I get the lesson in geoeconomic politics, whatever. I get it. And I can also sit here and go, you know what? For months now, I've been being told by the conservative media that we're kicking ass over there. And I'm kind of tired of being told we're kicking ass. And then it's continuing to pay. I'm continuing to pay for it. Like I can look at things both ways. Both can be true at the same time here.
I think the thing right now gas is a lot right now, but I don't see it going down. I just
No.
keep going up more and more.
Nope. It ain't going down, bro.
I'm just because what it was like a month ago when we first started talking about it. It went up. I feel like from last month when we first started talking about it, it was like a dollar less or maybe even more.
Yep.
Now,
$1.40, I think, in 2 months. I mean, on average.
A month ago, we were like, damn, gas is a lot. And now it's going even more up. So.
I mean, every week you and I have this discussion. Do we want to cover gas prices or do we not? And it's always just no, because everybody covers them. And it feels like every news channel you come to, all they do is go, yep, we have still going on in the war in the Middle East. Gas prices are still on the rise. Okay. So I hope that people will look at this now and go, okay, this is actually affecting small businesses at a large scale right now. And by the way, even if we open up the strait right now, it's not going to solve the problem. The futures of oil, sure, I get it. But the time it's going to take for us to make, if you could look this up for me, Anthony, let's take a look at this. So oil's sitting over there right now. Let's say it's sitting in it's docked over there in the strait. How long does it take for that to get over to America? Like, what is the life cycle right there? Because to me, this is not an immediate thing. You just open it up and all of a sudden it clicks on. What is the life cycle?
Ship from the Strait of.
Yeah, I can never pronounce it. I know.
5 to 7 weeks.
5 to 7 weeks.
So we'll probably just now starting to see.
Correct. So that's the other side. Like, what? Well, this war has been going on for longer than gas prices have been going up. Well, that's because there were ships that were en route. The supply chain was not interrupted for 5 to 7 weeks, delayed because of the time it's going to take a ship to get from that strait over here to the United States. Now we are feeling that effect, and it will be a while before we get any kind of relief, because even if America can solve this problem, we're still going to have a delayed gratification on actually doing it the right way. I mean, this is not going to end anytime soon. If the national average we're looking at it, what was it been going back here? 423. I bet we get up to 523, maybe 550, another 20% jump before anything happens here. I mean, at 5.23 a gallon, everybody, on the national average, that means here in Florida, we'd be paying close to $6 here. I mean, that's $180 to fill up a truck. Okay. That is substantial, which means that a flight is going to go up substantially in price. Airline travel, the price to rent a car, everything is going to go up. And we're going to feel that.
Without even just gas in general traveling, even just consumer goods are going to go up because they're going to have to spend more money to get things getting shipped over from out of state. It's just going to keep going up and up and up. Absolutely,
man. Couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's move on to the next story that we've got right here. Happy Friday, those of you who are joining us. So this one's coming from you, bro. I didn't know about this one. This is a disturbing story. All right. I was calling this guy D4VD. All right. I'm not going to lie, but his name is just David. All right. If you haven't heard the name David, or it's actually D4VD is how it looks on, if you look at it on paper. His real name is David Anthony Burke. He's a 21-year-old rising music star. He gets very popular on things like Discord. He's known for his songs, top the charts, performed at Coachella, which we covered just a couple of weeks ago. And prosecutors say the man's a murderer. All right. He is accused of killing 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez with allegations that he began sexually abusing her when she was only 13 years old. Prosecutors say that she was killed April 23rd, 2025. And one day after she threatened to expose the relationship and go public with it to destroy his career. He is charged with first-degree murder, continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14, and unlawful manipulation of human remains. The details prosecutors have laid out are very disturbing, Anthony. We're going to talk about those. Her remains were found months later in the trunk of a Tesla. All right. Burke has pleaded not guilty. His attorney says that evidence will show that he did not murder her. Preliminary hearing is set for next month on May the 26th. This is not just a crime story. This one is really messed up, everybody. You've got a 21-year-old rising pop star. You got a 14-year-old who supposedly was on Discord, and he started seeing her when she was much younger. He's accused of first-degree murder, And like I said, when you told me about this story, I was like, holy crap. Like this was like where they found his Tesla. Her decomposed body was in the Tesla. This has been a very disturbing one right here, Anthony. Is that right?
Yeah, honestly, just reading more about
Yeah.
it, this guy's just evil and just a monster. And,
Really?
yeah.
You just say that, man. I mean, you saying evil and monster, I believe you, but I when I first read this and you sent it to me, I thought, not guilty. You're saying you're innocent, and her body, who you're accused of sexually assaulting, all this stuff, and you're just saying I'm innocent. Yeah, right. Okay. I mean, the facts here have not come out, and I want to be very clear on the show. We always want to. I'm going to assume somebody's innocent until proven guilty. I want to give everybody the fair benefit of the doubt. But when I see this, I immediately scream in my head, this seems like a sicko.
Yeah. And not even to mention just this girl's like underage and he's with her romantically. Even just that is sickening, and just more facts about what happened, what he did, and just
Yeah, it's a really good point. We're focused on the murder, but then if you look at that beforehand, no matter what, you still have a predator here. All right, like come on. And I've said before on this show, there is no rehabilitating a predator. There is no making them better. It is a disease. It is not going to be cured. It is something that we just need to throw people in jail or get rid of them, castrate them. It doesn't matter what you just get rid of them in some way out of society. There is no cure for it. All right. And so when I look at this kind of person, I think to myself, Anthony, this is an individual that is sick and twisted. And we have got to begin to understand as a society that these people do exist. Not everybody needs to be rehabilitated and healed. Not everybody deserves a second chance. People like this do not. They are the worst of us. They are animals. They do not deserve to have a place in society. We need to lock them up and throw away the key. That's it. And I'm not saying about the murder. I don't know about the facts of that yet. But what I do know is this girl was sexually assaulted. She was sexually abused. She's underage, 13 years old when they began a relationship. And that doesn't matter. That's enough for me to know you're a sicko. All right. Like, that's it. I'm good. Right there. I'm good. You're a sicko. So go to hell. That's all we need to know. I don't care about his music. Don't care how popular of an artist he is. Don't care where the guy performed a couple of weeks ago. I don't care if he makes the best hits. It doesn't matter to me. You're a sicko. That's it.
What I've been looking up, the rumors are, so when he was in this relationship with her, he meant, like, I don't know if it was stream or wherever, he was saying that this person's, I think he was saying that she was 18 or 19, like,
oh yeah,
her age.
I saw that as well in the story.
And then rumor has it that she wanted to confront and say, like, hey, I'm not this age, just as, and wanted to say like what her real age is and probably sue him or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so then he obviously killed her beforehand, tried to do it, but that's
God. It's just killing someone. God, Lord. The sad part is there are going to be people out there who are going to defend him based solely on his music, right? They're going to think that, okay, because he's a great musician or something, or they're a fan, that this is somebody worth defending. This is not. And I'm not making, like I said, I'm not making a judgment on the murder here. All right, folks. What I am making a judgment on is what I know, which is that an adult was having a relationship with a young girl, not a woman. And that is a sick, twisted mindset that cannot be healed, rehabilitated, or in any way made right. So that enough for me to say, throw him in jail forever. I don't need to know the rest of the story. I already know the guy's a sick who needs to go to jail. So why do we need to know the rest? Don't throw away the key. Now, obviously we do, because everyone wants to know, and she deserves just all that stuff. Okay. But for me, it's either one of a couple of things: castrate the guy and send him to prison forever, or castrate the guy, send him to prison and kill him. Which way are we going with this thing? That's the only difference to me on this. The murder or not thereof.
Yeah, and honestly, I saw the story maybe a couple couple days ago,
Mhm.
like just saw a thing, didn't really look into it, but the more I was reading about it, the more like because I really looked into it today, and I was like, man, this guy is just awful. At least from what I've seen.
Yeah, just an absolutely terrible person. You don't need to, like I say, you don't need to know about the murder to realize that. All right. I want to switch gears here a little bit. All right, folks. I want to actually go overseas here. Let's go over to the UK. A young girl, she can see again. And this is some of the great stuff that comes with technology. Folks, if you haven't heard, it is a beautiful story and a rare genetic condition that causes kids to go blind. And a young girl developed this, and she did. She went blind. But thanks to a hospital there, they have developed a drug called, and I'm going to maybe pronounce it wrong, Luxturna. It's a one-time gene therapy that puts a healthy copy of the broken gene directly into both eyes. This young girl, Safi, got one treatment in April 2025, a second in September, and that's it. She can see again, everyone. It's like someone waved a magic wand, says her mother. And she could see. She can go to restaurants in the evening. She's thriving in school, and you would never know that she had a condition before this. Now, here's the cool part about this. There is a bigger picture. A published study showed that 7 out of 10 kids treated showed meaningful improvements in vision. This is gene therapy working in real time on real babies and kids. It's not science fiction. We are in it right now, folks, or we are taking the we are taking the genes and the DNA that people have, and people are not being defined by it or restricted by what their genetic code is. And that's a beautiful thing. This is what tech should be used for right here. All right. Protecting children, giving them their life back. She's 6 years old. She gets a rare genetic disease. Now she can see. Imagine that. Like you're sitting there in the dark, and then all of a sudden you can open your eyes again like that. Like to me, that's everything that there is good with tech that we are doing. And I said before, I can't imagine being a young girl or boy and you lose your sight or you lose your hearing. All of us struggle enough to feel like we fit in, don't we? Like, I mean, if you have something that makes you feel even like you're more different than the rest of us in a world where all of us just want to have a group of people that we can look at and feel like we belong, man, I love that. Because, I think that one of the things that makes us people is our ability to empathize with one another. And I look at that and I can think that I've never not had sight or not been able to hear. And I'm like, wow, I can't fathom that emotion that a young person must go through if they were walking through life and then all of a sudden, boom, something like that is taken away from them. It makes you think like, wow, what a perspective that would be on my day if I all of a sudden just thought in an hour, what if I couldn't see anymore? How would my life change? How would the problems that I feel right now seem so minuscule if I couldn't see in 1 hour?
Honestly, I loved hearing this story. And honestly, one of my good friends, he's completely blind. And
I know that.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm just really happy or like hoping that in the future, like this can get better and the technology can grow better, so even he can get his eyesight back too. And he's like, I know him from my college, and so he went blind when I think he was in high school.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so he knew
He knew.
a condition, so like he went to like a blind boarding school, and
wow.
Yeah, he was telling me a story, and he was I think he was just in English class, and his vision was like kind of going out, and then I think he was just saying like one day in English class, it just completely went out, and ever since then, he just couldn't see.
For those of you who can't hear, Anthony's telling us a story about one of his friends who he knew he had a condition, and then all of a sudden he was in high school. He was kind of going in and out of vision, and went dark. He's an individual. I mean, that's what it's. You got to hope that the technology is improving enough at a rapid enough pace to be able to help people exactly like that. Because I don't know. I mean, call me crazy, but I think all of us just want, the basics. We be able to see our loved ones and hear their voice. wouldn't that be beautiful and special? And there are people that are out there, which we don't think about often because most of us walk through life with 10 fingers, 10 toes. We can hear, see, touch, feel. We can do all that. We're not worried about it. But there are people that don't have those things, right? They don't have legs, or they have a deformity, or they have a disability of some kind. And, that's got to be tough, not just to get through the world, okay, but tough internally. Because you have to overcome not just all the BS all of us have to deal with within life, but then add on top of that something that's going to make you feel different than everybody. That's not easy. I bet your friend's an amazing person. I bet he's a good person.
Oh yeah.
I bet he is.
Yeah, and honestly, he does things that I couldn't even think about doing. He bought a house just recently, and he takes a bus, goes all the way to work and comes back, and I'm like, I don't even know how he does it sometimes. And
wow,
crazy.
I of course, people like that who just overcome so much, I think they probably have a different outlook on life. They accepted something, they overcome something. They have got a toughness, a realness about them that I'm not sure I would have if I lost my sight. I get upset if I can't find the right socks in the morning. And, like these little things that bother me, the perspective that if I couldn't even see what socks I was putting on, how that would change for me, how my life would be radically different. Yeah, this is a beautiful story about exactly what technology should be used for. I'm so happy that a young girl now, she can see, and others are getting this not life-saving, but life-altering treatment to bring back sight, bring back hearing. And let's keep an eye on this one. I'm really happy you brought me this story right here. I love the line that this article has: DNA is no longer your destiny. How cool would that be if in the next couple of years AI can rapidly improve and we can go ahead and get rid of diseases exactly like this? Really cool stuff here, man. All right, this next one, hits home for us, okay, folks. Florida roofers scamming homeowners again. You need to know exactly what's happening. This story is coming out of Jacksonville, everybody. The state of Florida sued a Jacksonville roofing company called Florida Roof Specialist, owned by Jeremy Ruggiero, for deceptive and predatory business practices. So here's what's happening, all right? The Attorney General's office says that the company used door-to-door sales tactics and promised homeowners the roof would be, get this, fully covered by insurance. Just pay your deductible. Then after that was done, customers got hit with thousands of dollars in extra charges that they never agreed to. And when people didn't pay, the company placed liens on their home, meaning they could have faced foreclosure. The AG's office here in Florida got 137 complaints. At least 75 homeowners had liens placed on their properties. An attorney with Jacksonville area legal aid put it plainly: seniors are especially at risk for scams like this. You're living your life, and then suddenly someone tells you you owe 10 grand or you lose your house. All right. I'm going to explain exactly how that works in the state of Florida. All right. Here's what I want people to know. I want them to understand exactly how these scams work and what happens in Florida when liens get put on homes, because there's a lot of confusion about this. It's an area that I know very well. And so first of all, how do they enforce this? Well, in the state of Florida, unlike most states, or unlike some states, if you do not pay somebody and they put a lien on your home, you can foreclose on that lien here in the state of Florida. So it's not like they can just throw the lien on there and they go, okay, well, good luck. You just can't do anything until I sell the home anyway. So thanks for putting the lien on the house, but I own my property and I'm not going to sell it. So good luck to you. In the state of Florida, you can do that. You can move forward with a lien and actually file foreclosure. And what oftentimes happens is that contractors or even HOAs will use the threat of a lien foreclosure like this in order to get action from a homeowner. This happens all the time. And so when you see a lien put on a house, it's not like somebody just can ignore it. If the company decides that they want to move forward, that means you're going to tack on legal fees onto this right here. It means that you got court costs, all that stuff, and a lien that can go from $10,000 to $17,000 almost overnight. So these liens that these companies are putting on somebody are a big deal, because they're threatening to actually take the home, which forces these people into payment plans with high interest rates. It forces them into payment that they shouldn't have to because of just the threat of losing their home. So that is number one. All right. Number two, how exactly do they trick people into doing this? So you'd think, well, insurance is going to cover it. What does that mean? So how do they end up owing thousands of dollars? A lot of times what will happen is a door-to-door guy will go and they'll say, hey, listen, we're going to get your roof approved, 100%, you're good to go. Let's go ahead and get this done. You can just use the funds that you get from the insurance payout and you're going to be set. Well, they go ahead and they move forward with it, and then the insurance denies the claim, and that person is left holding the bag for 10, 20, whatever $1,000 the roof cost, because they assumed that the person who was so nice sitting in front of them in a nice polo shirt with a nice smile can never lie to them with the iPad, and boom, now they're sitting there with a denied claim from State Farm, and the roofing contractor is going, you owe me the money. All right, you signed the contract, we put the roof on, now you owe me the money. And I wanted people to understand a lot of this. Why would they go forward with it? Okay, if you're a roofing contractor, why are they putting the roof on? It's what's called cost incurred. So meaning that if I'm a roofing contractor and that roof has been put on, I've incurred cost, which means that now it makes it a lot more value or a lot more viable for me to place a lien on a home because I've actually got costs that I've incurred in order to put that roof on. And therefore, when I go to court and I go, hey, court, hey, I need a foreclosure on this house. The court looks at it and they go, well, what kind of cost have you incurred on this? Well, look at all these hard costs. The roof is there. I did my work and they're not paying me. Meanwhile, the homeowner looks at him and says, you told me this wasn't going to be this way, that they were going to pay. You told me all I had to pay was my deductible. I was just going to pay $1,000 and I was going to get a new roof. And now you got conflict, right? But if you just have an average scenario where somebody like this company does not have so many complaints, a lot of time homeowner is going to lose. And these companies like this who have deceptive practices, who are going out there and doing things like this, allegedly, if they understand that many times, unless you have multiple complaints that come against you, you get away with it because you do have a cost incurred. The homeowner seems like they're just moaning all the time. And you get an opportunity to file that foreclosure. And when you do, your attorney gets paid here in the state of Florida, and then you get your payment. And who loses? But the homeowner is the one who loses. This has been happening far too long. It's why all these laws have changed, starting back with Senate Bill 76, which I fought hard against here in the state of Florida. And I mean, how many House bills and Senate bills have we dealt with in the since 6 years? I think 2019 was Senate Bill 76. Senate Bill 76. I want to say it was either 20. So I don't think it was 19. So let's say it's 2021. Can you look up that Senate Bill SB 76, Florida? All right. When I first got started in this industry, Anthony, this was like my big fight. I went to, in fact, with Richie here, we went to the Florida Senate. We testified in front of the Florida Senate. I have video of me doing that. This was a just awful, awful bill that was trying to be pushed through by Republicans here in Florida. And it dramatically increased the power that insurance companies had and dramatically reduced the power that contractors had and homeowners had to fight against insurance companies. It got rid of things like the power of the assignment of benefits, AOB. When the bill started, it actually restricted what an individual could say in a home, like a door-to-door salesman could say inside of a house. It made it criminal. If you said things like what they're accused of saying, it could be criminal. That's how the bill started. It was that far that the words you said to a homeowner could be criminal if you talked about an insurance claim because you were not a licensed adjuster or attorney in the state. Think about that, everybody. Florida, that wasn't long ago. That was like 2021, right? 2021, SB 76. That's how the bill started. Insurance companies made a huge push. This was the start of it. And then I think we had House Bill 228 or 528 that came the next year. No, so what happened is a lot of people so basically what happens in the state of Florida is you have the House and you have the Senate, right? Everyone remembers that thing. I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. Well, that's not the way it works at the state level. All right. The way it works at the state level is you have two sides of government, the Senate and the House, and they have to go through basically 3 chambers in each one. And then what's happening is as they go through those chambers, you have the House communicating with the Senate bill. There's like a sister bill. They're brother and sister bills. And what you're trying to do is get them through both sides of the House and the Senate. And then at the end, you want to get a vote on them that they're exactly the same bill. And then that gets sent over to the governor if it passes for him to sign into law. All right. So what happens is that you can kill a bill at any one of these, like the committees, I think are, I don't know what I forgot. Finance committee. There's 3 committees, if I remember right. And then at each step, a bill can be killed, right? But what you're trying to do is move the bill forward into the next committee. And then at the end, you want the bill to be exactly the same on the House and the Senate side. And to make it more confusing, what they do is they'll be like House Bill 228, Senate Bill 76. Why don't you just call it House Bill 76, Senate Bill 76? I don't know. But in the end, that's what happens. And then they take one of the names, and only, I don't know how they choose which one, and that's the House bill or the Senate bill that goes before the governor. They choose the name. I don't know how they choose it. But Senate Bill 76 was the first attempt, and it worked. The bill got changed in committee, and they took away the language that made it criminal for someone to talk about an insurance company inside of a home. But I'm telling you, it shocked the roofing community. It shocked the home improvement community. Because the way that it used to work with assignment of benefits were so powerful in the state of Florida, AOBs. It basically was exactly that. You could assign the benefits of your claim, your insurance claim, to someone else, like a contractor, meaning that when I got a payout for that claim, that money went to the contractor. They were the benefit. They were assigned the benefits of that claim, just like it says. Makes sense? Well, what happened is that contractors took real advantage of that. They would go in and they would say, hey, just do it. I can get this claim paid for. I'm going to sue the insurance company no matter what. And I know that the insurance company will rather settle with me than fight me in court. So assign your benefits over to me, give me your claim, and give me a year, and I'll go ahead and file against the insurance company and get everything paid for. And so insurance companies were sitting there going, whoa, hold on. We're getting taken advantage of here. And so that's where we started to pull back because people abused the AOB. They did in this state. We really did. Some people were doing it the right way, like Richie, who's here. Awesome. Did AOBs the right way, took care of people. But then when you don't have that AOB as a contractor, you're liable. And that's not a good thing either, because you don't want to do the work and then the individual gets paid for that work. The insurance company pays that person, that homeowner. What if they don't pay you? What if they just say, screw you? Well, now you're in a legal fight with that person, putting a lien on their home, doing the whole game all over again. So Florida has changed dramatically. I see this right here, and I go back to my days of like just what I heard 5 years ago. This is like the oldest thing in the book. Go to places where people are elderly, take advantage of them, tell them that, hey, listen, your claim's going to get paid for. Don't worry about it. I'll put on your roof. And then when the claim doesn't get paid for, you slap them with the bill and you say, well, here we go. I'm going to file a lien for cost incurred because the roof is on. The roof is new. Look at all the documentation. You signed right here. Doesn't matter that you didn't know what you were signing. You owe us money or we foreclose on your home. Yeah. So I don't know these people. I don't know anything about them. They've obviously never been a client of ours, but I can tell you this. In my time in this industry, whether it be roofing or home improvement, when you have 137 complaints from 75 different homeowners, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I hope that if this is the case, that these people are made right, that they're not paying some scam artist or whatever their money, and that the state does the right thing here. Again, I don't know these people, Florida roof specialists, but there's a lot of complaints right here for one company in one area like Jacksonville. All right, I want to talk about the next thing that we've got right here. We've only got one more story, and it's a big one here for the weekend, everybody. It is the Kentucky Derby, all right? It's Kentucky Derby weekend, everyone. I want to talk to you about this. If you haven't heard, it's the beginning of spring for some people. Some people say it's Easter. Some people say it's the Masters. Some people say it's the Derby. No matter what, you've got to love the pageantry of it. I sure as heck do. It is one of those things where 150,000 people are going to pack into Churchill Downs. It's the most famous 2 minutes that there is in sports. And it's been running every single year, get this, since 1875. So the Kentucky Derby is just an American icon. All right. It's 152nd running of the Derby. It's meant to take off at 6:57 Eastern time. Coverage will be on NBC and Peacock. All right. And let's see here. The coverage begins on NBC and Peacock at 2:30. So for all you people that are going to get out there, you're going to drink some, what do they call, mint juleps, all right? I know there's going to be some places around town they're going to be making them. Enjoy yourself, get in the big hats, put on the nice clothes. It's a good excuse to get out there and get dressed up. A lot of fun right there. I really love the Derby time. I'm a big fan of the Derby. I think I'll be working this weekend, but I still will have it on. I think it's just, I love the pageantry of this one, like the Masters. Like the whole day you're seeing these people in these outfits and hats. I don't know. I love it. So I also want to talk about this. If you're in Orlando, all right, like we are, you ever wonder, like, where should I go watch the Derby? Right. I got your top 3 places in Orlando. If you're local here watching our show, top 3 places that you should go and watch the Derby this weekend. So first one I want to say, Boxy Park. You ever been to Boxy Park over there? Yeah. Boxy Park is good, bro. They're having a watch party with live music, food specials. Of course, you're going to have the big screen out there. They got a best dress contest. I will not be winning that, but maybe you could. You're the sharpest dresser that we have here at the office, all right? The next thing, the Grand Bohemian. If you go downtown, Grand Bohemian, great hotel that we have here from 2:30 to 7. They are doing signature cocktails. They're doing a lot of cool stuff, a Derby celebration. So go down there to the lounge at the Grand Bohemian. And then I want to give you a weird one right here, okay? This one's kind of cool. The Central Florida Animal Reserve. It's in St. Cloud. They're hosting a Derby watch party with bourbon, big cats, and a cat-themed hat contest, everyone. So if you want to get drunk and maybe go adopt a cat, go on down to the Central Florida Animal Reserve, and I'm sure they'll take care of you. But it sounds like a fun event, if nothing else. I love how they threw in the bourbon and big cats. And like I said, a cat-themed hat contest, everyone. It's going to be a fun day. If you're out there, be safe in the afternoon. It looks like we're going to have good weather here in Florida to be outside and to be able to watch the Derby. I hope they have the same there, because I do love seeing the sunshine and making it feel like it's just a beautiful moment in spring that we get here in America. I've been looking forward to this one for a while here, Anthony. We've talked about the Derby being the end of the worst 3 weeks in sports that we have here, in the beginning of something special. So I'm very excited about this one, brother. That's it. That's what we got, folks. We had a great show here for you. End with some good news with the Derby. Obviously, we talked about why gas is so expensive. We got into, of course, the Florida roofing scam that's going on over in Jacksonville. The life-changing, altering treatment that kids are now receiving so they can see and hear again. This guy, David, who's an absolute sicko. And, of course, Meta in New Mexico that we kicked off everything with right there in the case that we have. So it's going to be a great weekend. Like I said, everybody, a lot of things that are going to be going on. We'll make sure that we're back on Monday to another live episode with you here on the Patrick Carr Show. Drop us a comment. Let us know you watched. I don't know. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. We'd love to be able to talk to you and hear from you in the comments section. And in the meantime, have a great weekend. We'll see you all on Monday.